Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have some very exciting news because Pigment Craft Co. stamps, dyes, inks are now available at Cardnouveau, which is a European webshop where I'm brand ambassador, and I know that you guys normally know from me that I am not a flowery kind of person. If I buy flowers, they have to be really simple, elegant, but I don't have a lot of flowers. I think I have 2 sets maybe with flowers. Now, as soon as Cardnouveau told me that they were going to purchase pigment ink and sell it, I was so excited because pigment inks, well, craft code, inks, stamps, everything, I just find it so amazing to watch. They have their own color palette and I just love it. There are several inks out there. I bought 10 of them based on one of their pictures where they swatched them out. I also want the other ones, but I started with these. This way I have 2 colors of each sort of family. So here are the greens, and I just wanted to show you really quickly how I just keep my ink sort of sorted or know what I have in my craft room. I have this bullet journal. I showed it in the past. There are some shadow studies in the back of this book. In the front there are some, well, all my distress inks swatched out, all my Concord the 9th inks, and also papers, and that's how I sort of keep track of everything that I have. Now for my swatching, I decided to use the Spring Floral stamp set, which is an adorable, elegant and simple floral stamp with a numerous amount of flowers in it, and I just love it. I decided to use my, how do you call it here, my label maker to just print pigment inks, as well as the names. I thought I would write it down, but as you saw, well, I'm not convinced about my writing, so the label maker is a lifesaver, and I just made sure to swatch it all out. So first the lightest version of the 2 inks that I got, and then the darker one. And that's how I will keep track of all of the inks. Now there are 10 more currently, as far as I know, and I definitely want those as well, so I have more papers or sides in this book to add those inks as well, but that's for the future. So I use the same flower for all of them, which is an adorable, elegant flower, and then after swatching it out, I am going to play a bit with all of these flowers. Now, normally I don't show this, but I just thought that it was lovely to know my first impression. And if you know, for example, the Concord the 9th inks, I find it quite similar. Of course, the colors are completely different, and that's what I like as well. Concord the 9th, for example, I'm a big fan. They have that gorgeous rainbow. In this case, you have quite an alternative color palette, and I just love it. I immediately know when I'm watching on Instagram all of the inspiration, I immediately know when someone used the pigment inks for their, well, card. I just love them. So I started stamping out these flowers, all of them. I first did one where I filled in the gaps so you can sort of stamp the outline and then the inner pieces. Now I didn't show it in this video. You can still see it a bit on the top. I'm not going to use it in the end, so I just thought show you a bit of what I used. I also used some vellum and did some white heat embossing, and afterwards some gold heat embossing, and then I just went for it and did some other colors as well. You will see it afterwards before I start with the cards. I have quite a lot of flowers stamped out, die cut, and I played a bit around with them to get some lovely cards. Also, since this is now available at Cardnouveau, I thought let's make a few videos. So tomorrow I will be back using some more of these flowers, but in completely different cards than today's cards. Today's cards are quite simple, with quite a lot of white, really elegant but really simple, as I like them. And then tomorrow they will be a bit more colorful, so in case you just want a bit more color, then definitely come back tomorrow and check out that video as well. So here heat setting the gold embossing powder. This is gold from Fawn, and the white was the white superfine detail from Ranger. And once I heated everything, I die cut it using the matching dies, and then we can start playing. So placing the matching dies was a bit of a search because it's really hard to see how you can place them, but they match perfectly, and so once you turn it a few times around, you will definitely find the right way to cut it out. And then here you can find my amazing assortment with way too many flowers to use all at once, so that's why there is a second video for you tomorrow. So first of all, one of my favorite stamp sets that I currently bought is this one, the Congrats stamp set. Well, do I have to explain it? It's huge, it's subtle, but in your face, and depending on which color you're using, well, it can be so gorgeous. I immediately thought about wedding, and it's definitely usable for that because there is an extra sentiment to the happy couple, and I just love it. But then I saw the other sentiments that are also in this set, and you can also use it as a baby card, of course. I didn't thought about it when I just saw the congratulations, but it's definitely an option, and I love it for that. I'm using the Lagoon Ink here. I tested it out with what I have in my book, really handy, and the flowers that I thought of using. So this way I turned up with the Lagoon, and I really love it, and I also think this is the perfect blue for a baby card. The other blues are also gorgeous and they can be used as well, but I will just keep it to this is the perfect blue-greenish color for a baby card. So I die cut it as well. You can immediately stamp it on top of your panel, but this way I could have a bit of dimension, so that's always lovely. I added a white panel, A2 size, but of course a bit crooked because I cut it myself and I cannot get it right immediately. So I trimmed the excess off, and then I added some Scotch 3M foam tape on the back of this amazing congratulations, well, blob with some confetti on top of it. I just love it. I will use this stamp set a lot, I'm sure of it. So the flowers that I'm using are the Juniper and the Balsam colored flowers, a bit of both the filled versions and just the outlines. And then I thought that this green was perfect to combine with the gold. So I'm covering some of the greens with a gold layer. Really subtle, but you can still see the green from underneath. And we will zhuzh it up like Laura Basson always says. We need a zhuzh. I'm just doing that with the vellum flowers. So I'm going to add everything like this. I was inspired by one of the cards that you can find on the Instagram page of Pigment Craft Co. Well, the inspiration over there is just immense, and it's stunning, elegant, everything you want. And then the arrangements of other flowers were on the two other corners, but I just thought, well, let's keep it fresh and do the other corners. And then I of course picked these flowers because I don't have all the flower sets, of course. I bought, I think, 4 sets currently that I will be using to make these elegant cards. And I love the fact that I now have these congratulations because there are many weddings ahead in 2022, and so I need some cards, and I never made a wedding kind of card, and I know you can make a love themed card with lovely critters, and that's definitely not gonna change. I'm going to make a lot of cards still with critters, with my favorite things, with Mama Elephant, Lawn Fawn, and so on. But I just thought seeing this stamp, it was perfect. I will make a bunch of wedding cards using this stamp, and I have these gorgeous colors that I can use and each time change it up a bit, but I know that this will work out fabulous, and well, everyone will love this, I think. Well, I find that it's necessary that you love it. But no, I truly adore these, and the flowers are so beautiful. It's crazy. I know that when I bought this set and it didn't arrive yet, I was like, and my mom, I was, oh look what new brand is coming at Cardnouveau. I loved it from the start and now I can finally get it. And my mom was, but there aren't any critters, it's not like cute or anything. And I was like, I know, but I love this. I love it. And then she was like, yeah, but don't go too far away from your cuties and critters and stuff. And I was like, don't worry, I think that 90% of my cards will still be the critters. Definitely, because that's my cup of tea. But I will make the exception for Pigment Craft Co. because it's gorgeous. Okay, sorry for the... I'm just losing track of the subject here. For my second card, really simple, a lot of white. I'm using the Celebration Bouquet to help me with the sentiments, to combine with these flowers. The lovely thing about Pigment Craft Co. and their sets is also that there are a lot of sentiments that you will be able to die cut. And sometimes it's only partially the sentiment that you can die cut, and sometimes you can die cut it completely. Now in this case, the Sending Love is completely die cuttable, if that's a word. And then there is also So Happy For You, that is an option. But I wanted to use the Sending Love. And then it was of course time to figure out placement. Now something that will always work, and I used in the previous card as well, is a triangle. It's said a lot by a lot of crafters. Also, for example, Kathy Zilske, she is amazing. I love her. She always repeats it as well. Triangles are the way to go. Definitely, if you're not sure, that will always work. So here I'm actually trying to create 2 triangles, and this way I will have a diagonal sort of vibe on this card. I'm using all the flowers in the blush color, and then I'm also using some of my white heat embossed flowers. Gorgeous together, really subtle. I personally really think that the blush color is my favorite ink currently from the Pigment Craft Co. company. Why? Because it's just so elegant and sweet, and I have made a lot of these flowers now because I just was amazed by the color. Something that is also handy to know is that when you stamp it, or when I stamped it, there were some flowers that weren't really even, but when the ink dried, it dried evenly. So now all the flowers have this gorgeous layer of ink without a darker part or lighter one, and I just love that. So the ink, once it dries, it will sort of go even. That's amazing. So I added my A2 size panel again and trimmed the excess off, and then I took the A2 layers dies from Waffle Flowers and took these 2 frames. Well, I'm gonna make a frame with these 2 A2 layers. So I prefer doing this on my craft mat, just some purple tape to keep them together, and then I can continue with my frame. So my frame, I thought, well, keep it in the blush kind of vibe. So I added blush all over the frame. If there is ever going to be cardstock with the colors from Pigment Craft Co., then I definitely want it. I don't think it's currently out there, but I need it. So if maybe one day the owners are watching, I want it. Okay, so here you have my frame. I'm going to add it to the panel, and then I will add my flowers that I kept together with my present seal again. I'm just going to simply add this frame using some liquid glue. I first wasn't sure. I was like, is it too dark? Is it okay? Again, it will fade and it will become even. So I just thought, let's go ahead with it. It will be precious. It will be really subtle, but a card will be gorgeous. I also think this frame, just keep it white. That will also be gorgeous. I thought of it afterwards, why I was immediately with the pinks, I don't know, but that's definitely also an option, and that will be gorgeous as well. So now onto the layout. I'm going to add these flowers because I can die cut a sentiment, and this way I can later on puzzle that sentiment in the middle of my images. Otherwise, it's better to first stamp your sentiment out before adding the images, but in this case it was perfectly fine. The lovely thing that I find from this card is that the flowers are overhanging the frame. This way it's a bit more fun, I think. There is a frame, but it's not really a guide to keep everything inside. It's a bit loosey-goosey. I love that. So I'm judging those vellum flowers a little bit, and then it's time to stamp out the sentiment. Therefore, I'm using a bit of a darker tone than the blush one, the Himalayan. And once I die cut it, I added some thin foam squares as well on the back, doing a bit of Laura Besson channeling. So I fiddled a bit, and then I added it nestled it inside of those flowers that we already added to the card. So I'm taking my T-square ruler, really funny to watch. I took my T-square ruler to make sure that it was aligned straight, and then I decided to add some final embellishments. These are the Studio Katja iridescent bubbles, the tiny ones, and I'm just adding it a bit. It's like dewdrops. Am I wrong? I think this goes really well with the flowers, but I didn't want to go overboard with them just because of the simplicity of this card. So I just added 6 on there, sort of in a triangle as well, each time. And that is it. Once they are adhered, these are my 2 cards for today. Using flowers, I loved it. More cards will follow with Pigment Craft Co. I hope that you love this brand as much as I do, and if you're living in Europe, then happy life, because you can now get them at Cardnouveau, and I think that's just amazing. So these are my 2 cards. Let me know which one you prefer, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more cards using these flowers, but a bit more colorful. So I hope that you will be back then. Thank you so much for watching and stopping by. I truly appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I hope you had an incredible Christmas, and let's go to the end of this year. I'll see you soon. Bye!